Very different kind of day, one that you will for sure remember for years to come, and not just what's going on right now in WWE or in the world for that matter, but the fact with all the changes that derail from this. Talking about a lot of talent that there's a place where they can no longer call work. Like, this is their dream job. They're living their dreams, and it's not like that you can throw out there, because this is the most common thing that I am seeing is that, well, there's always AEW. Like, AEW will also be impacted. Don't be surprised within the next couple of weeks of them making changes very similar. But as far as for future waves, we need to discuss this. Elite Series 78, this series is going to be the one that's scheduled after 77. Now, this one has not gone up for pre-order, so usually when something like that occurs, when the figure is not even available for you to order it in advance, they can make changes. And this is going to not just only apply for Drake Maverick, but you also have to take in consideration like anybody on SmackDown, on NXT. Matt Riddle, I'm not necessarily saying that, but he does have a lot of backstage heat to where he could be one of those superstars that will be impacted. We are also going to discuss the ones that they have gone through, so let's get into the rest. One of them being Rusev, Bulgarian Brute. Many changes have developed throughout these years with him. Ultimately, it was always a situation where he just wasn't happy where he was at. Like, this is one figure too for Elite Series 65, latest one and most accurate to what he does have right now. And this is the thing too that I want to point about all these guys, you guys, is that rarity. As you know, anybody that departs, whether it's up to the man upstairs or a different brand, there's always a trickle effect that you will see. Kurt Angle, I mean, think about it. Yes, we saw like a lot of great figures in this series. You're talking about earlier Angle and the entrance greats. His most recent right here, the WWE Network Spotlight. Like, there's just so many that come to mind, you guys, and still to date that we never got. So that's something that I do want to bring up. Stay tuned, man. Turn on that notification bell. That's something I want to share with you guys. I want to tell you as to some of the attires we wish we still could have seen with some of these guys. Now, for right here, for Drake Maverick, we have seen him in basic, and he did have the expectation, as we just saw in the beginning, where he was scheduled to be released in Elite. You could have either gotten this one, which is the black attire, as well as the green. This was the chase, so you had alternate options if you wanted to display him with AOP. But yeah, as far as like suited body, again, a lot of possibilities to where this has got to be the most one that's going to hurt me the most, because this is his in-ring gear. This is what we knew him as, his actual ability as a wrestler. That's not going to be a thing anymore, man. Now, for the two sweet boys, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, this one is like a huge stab, dude. And okay, here's the thing. They just got the contract renewed, was it about 2 months back? But thing is that don't matter. I mean, there's a lot of escape clause with these contracts. It doesn't matter if like Lana just extended hers. What was it? I think it was like a 5-year it was a big, huge number. Thing is, though, is that Vince McMahon, he's got to make big impact in order for things to continue to afloat. And that's the other thing that I want to talk about, man. So a lot of these guys, as you know, man, Heath Slater, man's got kids. Everybody's got families. And Vinnie Mac, he's one of those cold bastards, man. I'm telling you. He'll turn his back on you faster than you can blink. And look, there's other approaches that could have been taken. I mean, I understand where they're going with this. But Slater, man, he's been one of those diehards. Like, you're talking about day one. You're talking about, like, an actual WWE fan of the product. Like, a lot of these guys had options. Like, when there was options, such as AEW, the one thing that never crossed their mind, or at least not for Heath Slater, is to jump ship just because of a better offer deal. I mean, some of these guys, that's what they are, man. They're lifers. Now, for Eric Young, I can't say that, because when he was, okay, here's the thing. As a group together, him, Insanity, yes, I will say they did some great stuff, but ultimately, this guy really had no future. A lot of these guys from TNA were mistreated, and mainly just because of the grudge that was held back. I mean, you're talking about 10 years back. Vinny, yeah, he's one of those guys, man. He never forgets. Now, for Rowan, this right here, this was a kind of a big shocker, because we have seen him like with a kind of, I don't know. I mean, would you guys consider the cage or the spider in the cage a big story? Like, I feel like they pushed it quite a bit to where they were actually doing some with him, like as opposed to a lot of these guys where you rarely saw. So in a way, understandable. But for Rowan, yeah, this one it's got to be my biggest shocker for sure. I mean, his other half, right, Harper, he's already over there in AEW, so at least in a situation for him, he's more established. But as far as Rowan, I mean, I don't see any of these guys really having an issue once things get better as far as getting back into the groove of things. But as far as him, dude, one that like absolute must must, not just like as a potential like development as a like an actual talent superstar, but in the figure wave right here for Sarah Logan. Now, some of the rumors are, and this is just a rumor, I'm sure they're pretty much done for Raw, at least I hope they're Raw. The number of people that are supposed to be scheduled to be released, it's going to be well over 100. And her husband, I think they're married, yeah. So this is my concern. Viking Raiders, right? Sarah Logan, I'm sure she'll kind of be like, yo, please, if you can keep them in there at least, please do so. Because I think the tag team, that division right there, like, that's an absolute must piece for Raw. So, yeah, I mean, Logan, yeah, I would say out of, like, all three right here for Riot Squad, she was, I'm not going to call her the weak link, but she was definitely in the back row when it came to No Way Jose bringing the party train. All this man was a comedy. Like, he was never really taken as a serious character, and something like this, when times do come by, I mean, we have seen this in the past. It's not like this has happened in a while where it's like, oh damn, dude, they're releasing all these WWE superstars. It has happened. Thing is, though, it's never been of this magnitude. So no way right there in the train. EC3 too. I mean, you're talking about one dude that, like, you thought he was gonna get some, like, he was gonna get a push. He's like, all right, he's going up here against Braun Strowman, but then you saw like the whole downfall, and it continued. It just kept going down. It trickled all the way down the deepest creek, and it never came back. Aiden English can also always attest to this. Like, this was a transition, at least for him. It was where he was an actual talent, and then he developed into a commentator, and then you never really saw a lot of these guys towards the end. Now, Primo and Epico, I actually can't even recall the last time we've seen them. I feel like it's got to be well over a year. I mean, if you did go to a house show, these were the guys that were usually there, but as far as like an actual TV thing, yeah, this was never the thing. And for some of these guys, really their only gig in WWE was the house shows. So if there was no house shows to perform, there was really not much you could have done. Maria Kanellis right here, these two, they've been asking for the release. So literally since like the month after they got hired on, like, they got a good deal, well, at least when you compare that to what they had like prior with TNA. But yeah, they just ask, like, every 2-3 months go by, you'll hear something on them. But for Lio Rush, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that movie that just popped up on Netflix, but I gotta tell you, man, this guy, his story, it's insane. Like, this guy had so much going for him, and it is an unfortunate thing, because I mean, we just saw him on, like, what was it, about a week ago. Like, we just saw him doing great matches. Like, he's been having great stuff. Like, yes, all the heat with the backstage, I get that, I understand. But thing is like, how is it that some of these guys, like, they were regulars in a way? Some of them did end up turning into regulars. And Lio Rush, dude, this sucks, man, because this is the one guy, one of the figgies that I always kind of had jotted down for a wish list, whether it's this year, next year. This one is going to be impacted for sure, you guys. Look out for Elite Series 78 being changed. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, one bad thing it is for sure is that the bros, we need to talk about Zack Ryder as well, and Hawkins, because these guys, it's tying in with everything, man. I mean, we'll go ahead and start it if it hasn't already started, but hashtag life first. Ryder, like, him and Cody, like, Cody, I know they're friends, like, behind the scenes and everything, and he's like, if there's one guy that we always wanted, was this man. So, like, let's say that, they start rehiring back some of these guys. Like, I think what it will come down to, I mean, Ryder, like, for anybody that does collecting, you guys could probably all tie this in, but the fact that, like, especially his habit, man, like the way that he buys like really expensive figures, this man's gonna need some kind of paycheck regularly. So whether he sticks around and waits for WWE or signs with AEW, now would he bring Hawkins with him? Would Hawkins be like a partner deal? Just a lot of uncertainty during these moments. Like, I wish there was some kind of answer and explain you why things played out the way that they did. But if you do want some wisdom, I mean, if you are this far into the video, first of all, man, hashtag, please go in the comments, hashtag prayers for all these men, man, because, and ladies too, because all of them truly deserve a spot to where they can look forward to tomorrow. I mean, this is their daily stuff, bro. Like, you wake up, you hop in the vehicle, or in this case, in the plane, and you go all the way to the performance center and perform live, like, when everybody else is still at home. As far as essential business, that's another video. We can discuss that some other time. Your thoughts, let me know how you guys feel. Was this a right move? Was this as just as terrible terrible as what Vince McMahon has done in the past? Or is there something more that we're not aware of? I mean, look, big picture, we know the world, it's in shams right now, and this ain't helping whatsoever, because the way I feel about it, you guys, ultimately right here, entertainment, it's definitely important, man. That's what kind of keeps us afloat and gives the love all the way back to whether you're watching it from home or in the arena, dude. I don't know, dude. It sucks. It's a rough moment for sure. I want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.